Alright, it's the next day after I primed the bit, and so I got the paint out, and I gave the lathe several coats, more in some spots than others. This is not finished. The detail work, I've got to give this area, the quick change gearbox, another coat, but this is gonna take real nice. It can look like I got water poured over it, and so that, it's coming out good. I'm quite happy with that, and we painted it. I went through almost 2 quarts. I still have to do the tail stock, this color, and the motor drive, which I think I'm going to paint black. This color is nice. I'd like to get some black on it for some contrast, and but we got most of this done. I could have taken off the rack, but I figured if I don't have to, I don't really want to. It's extra work that is not absolutely necessary. This is not a museum lathe where you're gonna put it in there and nobody's gonna touch it except look at it. This is gonna be a working machine, and after X amount of time, it's not gonna look that good anymore. After using it. So, but I wanted to get it covered. I wanted it primed good, and so it doesn't rust. And I think, let's see how this looks. Yeah, it's coming along. I finish up this detail work inside here and in here. Another coat, and we should be good to go. I think I will, start to put the head back together, and sorry, the fan's on there. It's humid today, and I need this to dry. I've had some interesting issues with paint, and I want this to dry before I put another coat on, more so. And there's a few things that I did add additives to the paint. And this is it's a chemical called penetrol. It's a paint conditioner. It makes actually the paint flow. No brush marks, and it flows, so it lays down. No brush marks. That's one thing, and the other thing I got was this thing called Japan Dryer. It accelerates the drying of any oil-based paint or varnish or whatever. These are the two things I added, and I'm hoping that it's gonna take care of this, and it's gonna dry and get kind of hard. I want to get this lathe going. I'm contemplating about the motor drive that came with a 3-phase Westinghouse. Probably a real good motor. Probably needs bearings and all of that. But I found some interesting things that some people are using for their machine tools, the smaller mills. and lathes and whatnot. There's a sewing machine companies make very powerful motors. I found a company that makes a 1.75 horse, continuously variable. It's a DC motor and reversible and all that, all built in. All I have to do is make a mounting bracket for it and you know, kind of get a pulley. It's a 5,000 RPM motor, which is very fast. It'll be great because I'll pulley it down along with the gearbox that's on there, a 4-speed, which will pulley it down also. And if I need it really slow, back gear is like 9.2 to 1 reduction, so it really will slow it down. And the multiplication of torque, you really don't need a lot of power with these lathes, because you're only running them at, I'm going to do some experiments. I'm ultimately going to try to get it to turn 1,000 RPM, but they really weren't designed for that. I think, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 700 RPM for these, depending on the swing of the Hendeys. There's information is out there on it, but I'd like your opinion on somebody that is a little bit more smarter than I am, what they think about running a 1.75 on this lathe. The lathe came with a 2 horsepower Westinghouse, but 2 horsepower back then was like 5 horsepower today. So they didn't play. This thing was, you know, good to go. It would turn whatever you can stand, whatever the belt would stand. The other thing I'd like to talk about while we're talking, and I'm not going to make a separate video on this, but if you look at this, you look at the way, the distance, the width of this way is very wide. Tool room quality lathes, it's supposed to be, there's a ratio of swing to width of the bed. Well, this one's quite wide, and that's where you get structural integrity, along with the way the headstock was designed. I talked about it in another video. It's triangulated, but this being so wide, double prism, and being very wide, you know, the saddle's, you know, stretched out. That's what really gives us this lathe some strength, and we'll be able to turn whatever you want. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. I like the color. I'm quite happy with it. I'm gonna clean up the metal and hopefully get it so it looks better and brighter, and like I said, polish this. I may take these handles off. I think they're quite easy to remove. I think it's just a bolt underneath, and pull this off and polish this up, take this one off too. And you know, I don't know what I want to do with the card yet. I may blacken this and then take a rag and go over it, so the brass part, the background is black and the lettering is raised brass, and may be able to see it a little bit better. But you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. If you guys got any suggestions, I'm all ears. It's starting to come together. One of the last things, of course, I still have to do the tailstock, and I got to start putting all of this together. But this was a major feat. I mean, this is, you know, if pictures don't do the lathe justice, it's a heavy lathe. It's hard to move around. I don't have, you know, shops like some of these guys have, where they, you know, have either pull barns or large, you know, huge areas to work on this stuff. I'm tight with what I got. So but yeah, it's all painted finally, and I think that this paint will last. Be very durable. It should last for a very, very long time, and I'll never, I'll never need to do it again. So, yep. So this is all I got to report for now, and to be continued. And thanks for watching.